Hi there, good morning. So today we are going to talk about herpes zoster, or commonly known as shingles. It is a very painful condition, and what exactly it is we will discuss today. So by definition, herpes zoster is an acute inflammatory eruption that consists of grouped vesicles on a red base, and it usually occurs along the course of a cutaneous nerve. It can be one nerve or it could be multiple nerves that get involved. Now, what are the symptoms of herpes zoster? The main symptom of herpes zoster is the severe neuralgic pain that occurs either before the eruption occurs, or that is a few days or hours before the eruption actually appears on the skin, or it may occur after the main action of the disease has occurred and the main course of the disease has got completed, and then post-hepatic neuralgia may occur after that. Now these pains are actually limited to either certain definite points on the body where the eruption appeared, or it may get diffused around the various distributions of the cutaneous nerves around the region that gets involved. Now the eruption, it begins with some redness of the skin, followed in a short period of time by crops of irregularly grouped papules. यानी कि छोटे छोटे दाने हो जाते हैं पेशेंट्स के स्किन पे, दैट कैन बी लाइक रेड और कलर्ड बेस पे होते हैं. Either they can be pinhead or they could be pea-sized vesicles, and gradually they get erupted and they develop blisters, or sometimes some fluid may also appear in them, and these usually occur along the course of the nerves. Now the erythematous base or skin, they may coalesce and then they may form a bullae. So bullae is basically a fluid filled vesicle जिसके अंदर की लिक्विडीज डिस्चार्ज प्रेजेंट रहता है, और वो डिस्चार्ज आइदर तो अपेयर हो जाता है या कुछ दिनों के बाद रप्चर होके वो डिस्चार्ज हो जाता है. ये काफ़ी पेनफुल कंडीशन रहती है क्योंकि इसमें जो नर्व्स की है, स्पेशली जो स्किन की सुपरफिशियल नर्व्स हैं, दोज गेट इन्वॉल्व, and that's why this condition is really painful. Now the course of this disease may last from about 10 days to about 2 weeks or even more, and depending upon how much area of the skin has been affected, the prognosis and would vary from that also. Usually it starts from a median line, that is through the center of the trunk, or it may involve usually the upper part of the body, especially the intercostal region of the ribs, either on both sides or one side, and usually from the center towards the periphery. Or it may also get involved in older population, like in old people. It may more commonly get affected in the lower areas of the abdomen, or even the cruciate area, or sometimes in the arms and the upper arms, or the cervical or the neck region. Now although it usually follows a very typical course, but some lesions, they may also become hemorrhagic. That means they could start bleeding also, and in that condition it is known as zoster hemorrhagicus. If it gets gangrenous or there is ulceration or pus formation, in those cases the same condition is known as zoster gangrenosus. Now these variations in the disease results in scarring and keloid growths. Now in the old people, this can go into a chronic tendency, and especially sometimes there is also a condition known as abortive zoster, in which basically there is a papular stage, but it does not go to the blister formation or the vesicle formation, and it's usually resolute or gets cured before the vesication occurs. So that is basically known as zoster, abortive zoster. ना यूजुअली जो इसकी लोकेशन रहती है वो होती है डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन किसी भी कुटेनियस नर्व की, स्पेशली ऑफ अराउंड द ट्रंक. On right side it is commonly seen, but in some cases other sides are also involved, and usually the areas that are affected are the face, the arms, legs, or the neck. Now herpes zoster ophthalmicus is a condition जहाँ पे severe inflammation हो जाती है cornea, iris and entire eye की. So it is basically the nerves around the eye that get affected, and the branches of those nerves which connect also the ganglionic structure around that area also gets involved. Now basically this depending upon where the zoster has got affected, it is classified into various names according to the location where the disease has appeared or this condition has appeared. For example, if it's occurring on the front part of the body, then it is known as zoster frontalis. If it occurs on the cervical or the shoulder or the arm region, then the brachial nerves are involved and the cervical nerves is involved, so it is known as cervical brachialis. If it occurs on the upper parts of the body, that is the ribs and the intercostal muscles get involved, or the intercostal region gets involved, then it is known as the intercostalis zoster. And pain is usually the most common symptom, which may vary from mild to a very severe form of tickling pain. Itching may be present, sometimes severe burning may be present, and this occurs usually with complete restoration of the structure once the disease has run its complete course. So the only thing that may happen after the disease has cured is that there might be some scarring of the structure of the skin, but usually this is rarely seen because unless there is any suppuration or perforation or ulceration, that also gets resoluted by itself in a few months or year. But if the disease has been a very severe attack of the disease has occurred, then in those cases basically the scarring and abnormal sequelae may occur in form of any sensory, tropic or motor disturbances, which may either be alone or it may be combined. Now sensibility के अंदर इसमें पेशेंट को जो कॉमनली या तो पेशेंट में सेंसेशन उस एरिया में डिमिनिश हो जाएगी, या उसमें एनेस्थीसिया पेशेंट को डेवलप हो सकता है, हाइपर एस्थीसिया हो सकता है, या पैरेस्थीसिया हो जाता है. तो दिस इज़ बेसिकली आइदर देयर इज़ नो सेंसिटिविटी ऑफ द स्किन, द पेशेंट हैज़ नो सेंसेशन फेल्ट ऑन द स्किन, और इफ़ देयर इज़ hyperesthesia, that means they have a more acute sensitivity towards any disease thing when the skin is touched at that part. Or paresthesia may be occur, that means the whole body gets involved, and that may cause severe pain as well. So neuralgic pains are the most common ones, and usually it may be accompanied in some cases with affections of the hair, loss may occur, the nails may get affected, there may be loss of teeth also, and in some cases excessive sweating may occur on the affected side of the body. Now what is the pathology or the cause of this condition? It has been seen that there is a seasonal preference for this disease. That means कि ये condition उन केसेस में होती है या तो स्प्रिंग टाइम में या ऑटम टाइम में, यानी कि आफ्टर द समर्स और एट द बिफोर द विंटर स्टार्ट गेट अफेक्टिंग. So when there is variation of the temperatures from either too hot to cold or from too cold to hotter temperatures, at that time usually this condition gets triggered. Another important cause that has been seen is trauma. That means any kind of accident that has caused injury to the skin, or any neoplasms, that is tumors, any abscess, that means pus formation, pleurisy, that means involvement of the lungs, inhalation of any gases such as the coal gas, administration of arsenic or tuberculosis or influenza, or any local internal conditions that causes irritation to the nerve which is susceptible to this condition, that may cause trigger or onset of this zoster. Now zoster is basically an irritation or inflammation होती है किसी sensory nerve structure की किसी भी पोर्शन ऑफ द बॉडी में ये हो सकती है, और इट यूजुअली इन्वॉल्व्स द सेंट्रल और द पेरिफेरी ऑफ द स्पाइन सेंटर. Now the spinal nerves are complex and they contain sensory, motor and vasomotor and possibly dependent trophic elements. Now the one peculiarity of the zoster vesicle is found in its walls, and this is a very important diagnostic feature. Like if you see under the microscope, usually in the zoster cells, their walls will usually contain epithelial cells that will be transformed into either round or ovoid bodies, and this is known as ballooning or reticulating colliquation. So this ballooning is a diagnostic feature or a peculiarity of the zoster vesicle. That means जिन कंडीशंस में वेसिकल्स और वाटर फ्लूइड वेसिकल्स फॉर्म्ड हो जाते हैं स्किन में, अगर हम उसको अंडर द माइक्रोस्कोप चेक करें तो उनकी जो सेल वॉल्स हैं वो रैदर देन हैविंग द normal epithelial shaped cells which are usually elongated or square shaped, they may get transformed into either round or oval bodies, and this is known as ballooning. Now what is the differentiating diagnostic features with other skin conditions? Now the most commonly differentiating disease that is seen is the eczema, but in eczema the course is usually very short. The eruptions and the vesicles, they are also very smaller in size, and they tend to produce a continuous discharge, and along with that there is very much marked itching. But in zoster the itching is not that much marked, although it may be present. The burning is present here more, and also the vesicles, they are more larger, they can coalesce together to form large patches also, and there would be an erythematous or red base under them, and they don't discharge continually. That means that they have only discharge when they are rubbed, or maybe once in a while if they get ruptured by themselves, then the discharge may occur. Now what is the prognosis or the treatment of this condition? Now in the prognosis is very favorable, because usually once the crops have occurred and the attack has gone beyond a week or 3 weeks duration, the vesicles, they get healed by themselves, or you can apply ointments such as calendula ointment, which is very excellent in actually promoting healing, and if the skin is ruptured or there is something issues with that, then that can be easily improved. Now in the hemorrhagic results, the damage to the eye in the hemorrhagic form, if that occurs, then there might be scarring, and in case of aged or debilitated people, there may be a persistent neuritis, and this should be very commonly seen, especially in the older population, because their immunity levels are lower. The local जो treatment रहता है इस condition में वो purely protective रहता है. That means you can either apply some talcum powder to the area to help in the itching, or you can apply some zinc oxide or starch on a cotton gauze that is about 4 to 5 mm in thick in bandage, and then apply that on the affected area to soothe the itching and the other problem. Now also for the severe pain, it is recommended that by diluting 1 part of the tincture of hypericum to 2 parts of alcohol and water will be sufficient enough to help soothe the itching on the skin and to prevent the much pain and burning sensation that might be accompanying it with that. This is particularly useful in case of post-hepatic zoster where the pain is still persisting, although you may also apply during the active stage unless and until the skin is not broken or it's intact. Then after that, the high frequency currents are sometimes also applied using vacuum electrodes to relieve the itching in the patient and to promote the absorption as well as to lessen the pain. Now, what are the homeopathic management of this condition? There are very excellent homeopathic medicines that are available for herpes zoster, and the affected surfaces that are used are either treated with the calendula ointment to improve or prevent suppuration and to make the skin more intact and heal it more early, Usually for the pain, as already discussed, you can apply Hypericum solution, mother tincture diluted with some 2 parts of alcohol or water and apply to the affected area to relieve the pain. Then there are medicines that are given according to the symptoms the patient might be experiencing. Either it is during the active stage or after the active stage has gone over. Now the first one is the aconite, which is very useful if the patient has very much restlessness, he is not able to sleep, or the patient is mentally in distress and very much thinks that he is going to die with such pain. So